Today, we're having breakfast with the president and CEO of Genesis Health System. John joins us live to answer your questions as he has breakfast with Doug Cropper. Jonathan?
Good morning there, Angie. Good morning, everybody. Coming to you live once again from the Copper Spoon on the campus of Genesis East. We have President and CEO Doug Cropper here from Genesis Health System. Thanks for coming on the show today.
Thank you, John.
So I want to focus on viewer questions right now. We got a couple of them before we go show the history wall at 6:30.
Okay.
Ruth writes in here, do you think, talking about SBH, do you think we have enough mental health help for youth when I had to send my son to Sioux City for residential treatment? What would you say?
Well, that's unfortunate if her son had to go to a different city outside of the Quad Cities. We really want to care for everybody in the Quad Cities in all of our areas of clinical services, behavioral health, and everything, heart care. We really focus hard on that. The hard thing about that question, I don't know when that happened.
Right.
It could have been before we reopened our adolescent unit, which was 2 years ago, actually, this month. There were if it's in 2017, there were a handful of days when we were completely full. We have 8 child and adolescent beds. So all I can comment on is I'm not sure when that occurred. We really don't want that to happen. And there are days when we were full and patients unfortunately had to go elsewhere.
Another question that we have here from Ken, who writes in, Genesis, Aledo, and Silvis campuses, part of the Coventry Health Network for Medicare Advantage at the beginning of 2017, but were dropped from the network mid-year. So why were those 2 campuses, he says, dropped while the Davenport campuses remained in network?
So that question is a little confusing for me. Coventry has a parent company, Aetna. We have contracts with Aetna. All of our contracts are for all of our hospitals and all of our services. So the only thing I could maybe speculate there are 3 types of contracts that we have with insurance. One is an open access contract. The other is a tiered network where there's certain price advantages for using certain facilities. And the other is a narrow network. Maybe he's in a narrow network plan that limited the type of facilities he could go to. But if he could go anywhere in Genesis, he can go everywhere in Genesis.
Right. It doesn't matter where.
Yeah, and so I'm confused. He may want to clarify with his insurance company, which is Aetna.
Luis says here, Genesis Health System has other facilities throughout the Quad Cities. You obviously know that. Mm-hmm. Why do you not include these facilities in the TV ads, as in the I Am Genesis promotion that you guys have?
Well, we do a lot of marketing for all of Genesis. We've found that for our critical access hospitals, and we have 3 that are in smaller communities, DeWitt, Aledo, and Mercer, Jackson County, that our best marketing for those facilities is our local marketing. So we run local radio ads, we run local billboards and local marketing in those newspapers. We found that to be our best, really, marketing for those facilities. But we do all kinds of marketing for all of Genesis. So
we appreciate you joining us for the 6 o'clock hour. Doug Cropper, President and CEO of Genesis East. We're going to show that history wall coming up, the history wall coming up at 6:30 right here on Good Morning Quad Cities, Angie.
Yeah, sneak peek. Thank you, John. Looking forward to that. And if you have any more questions about Genesis, we are doing a special Facebook Live to talk about things we didn't have enough time for during the show. That takes place at the end of Good Morning Quad Cities on the WQAD Facebook page. Next week, we're learning about a bunch of development projects happening right now in Moline. On Thursday, December 14th, we're having breakfast with the city's Planning and Development Director, Ray Forsyth. You can submit any questions you have for him at WQAD.com. Just type breakfast in the search box.